All right, welcome back everybody. Pete Smales here in the Rancher Labs booth on the floor of KubeCon for another live stream. I'm now joined by Taylor Brown with Microsoft. Taylor, would you like to introduce yourself and tell a little about what you do?
Absolutely. I'm Taylor Brown. I work at Microsoft. I've been there about 16 years now.
Nice.
16 years on the same team, which is kind of special.
Old school.
Yeah.
All right.
But I run our container platform. So that includes all
relevant, I believe, to this environment. Yeah.
It's something people use around here.
Yeah, I believe so.
So it's all the underlying services that we run in Azure, as well as our Windows container stores, and a lot of our work in hybrid cloud and on-prem environments.
Awesome. So, a lot of buzz at the show, a lot of things going on from the Microsoft perspective and from your personal perspective. What are you seeing, or what have you seen that you've liked or been excited about, or what are you looking forward to seeing? Just your thoughts on the show and how it's going.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest news of the show is just the show size itself. I mean, it's just grown so fast. And the level of maturity from the conversations, people talking about operators and CRDs and actually having opinions on them already. It's great to see that sophistication come in. It's great to see all of the different vendors and the different ideas that are coming through. You're starting to see a lot more of that operational knowledge come in. Here's how you use this in production and really get your hands dirty with it. It's just
you make an interesting point. You walk around, and a lot of the folks here, it's not all sort of emerging technology vendors. Right. It's like you see a lot of very familiar names, like because everybody's diving in because it really is, and that's a common theme I think that we're hearing over the last, today, and we'll continue to hear, is just the whole notion of maturity. Just the overall technology maturity, the customer adoption, that type of stuff.
Yep.
So really interesting. Next question for you, sort of any big news or sort of what you saw maybe in Keynote or what's happening here, because you guys are obviously big open source contributors, community. From a technology standpoint, any news or things you've seen that you want to talk about? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, so probably my personal favorite is the Helm 3 work that we've done with the community and gotten that released.
And by the way, I'll interrupt you there. Just double click on that for those that weren't necessarily here at the keynote. What's the big deal about Helm 3?
So, I mean, the big applause was the lack of rudder.
Yes, that was the sort of setup.
Yeah, right. But, we saw the value of Helm come through in 1 and 2. But it always had kind of, but if only I could do this, it would solve this problem, which really is solving a big Kubernetes problem.
Where did we lose? How far back should I go?
No, it's literally, I stopped you right as it ended. So, and you're back.
We're back. We had a small technical glitch, but we were right in the middle of you sharing your thoughts on Helm 3 and the significance of Helm 3. So right back to you.
I think it's just going to help customers really adopt that technology and solve problems.
Cool. You're onto something else. I think you're onto a second that you were going to talk about.
Yeah, and then we talked about in the keynote this morning some of the work we're doing around SGX and the ability to run encrypted high trust workloads in containers in Azure. I think that's the first step in a much longer journey to building really high trust environments for customers. So that's going to be really great to see.
Nice, cool. All right, so last sort of bucket of conversation here, a little bit more specifically in the context of Rancher and Microsoft. We've obviously done a lot of work together. Would love to get your thoughts for those who may not be as familiar, sort of, the nature of the relationship, the strategy behind the relationship. Anything you can share on that, thoughts on some of the recent work we've done would be great.
So I'm really excited about the work we've done to bring Windows containers into Kubernetes and into customers through Rancher. You guys were the first ones to GA Windows container support.
We like being first.
Yeah, and it's really solving a customer need, right? We've got a lot of customers. 70% of customers are running Windows enterprise applications on-prem and in hybrid.
Law of big numbers, basically.
Right. Yeah. This is literally millions and millions and millions of apps. They're trying to containerize those. They need an enterprise Kubernetes deployment to run that through. So Rancher fits that bill very well for a lot of them. So we're super excited about that. Gives them the ability to run into Azure if they want to, or other clouds if that's where their workload, with a consistent control plane.
Absolutely. No, well said. And I think things I would add to that, so that you guys partnering with us in the 2.3 launch, we're grateful for that. That was, we had a big push there. There's obviously an enormous base of Windows-based applications. We want to see all that stuff get containerized, so that's strategic for all of us. The other thing I would just add on to that is that you guys have been instrumental with helping us with things like the lighthouses. So lighthouses are basically our Kubernetes strategy sessions. So we've run a whole host of those in Europe over the last quarter. We're going to do a lot more of those next year. So I think, and ultimately, I think that speaks to our collective efforts and desire to, an educated base, an educated set of consumers is the best way to go forward. So the more people that we have educated on containers, and Kubernetes, and Windows container support, and all those things, is just ultimately good for everybody, and having the muscle of a Microsoft basically standing behind that is just instrumental in driving the overall adoption. I think we're all seeing.
Yep, absolutely.
So we're grateful for that and appreciate everything you guys are doing. And any closing thoughts or such you'd like to throw in?
Just thank you all for all the work you're doing as well. I agree completely. Customers, when they're educated about what's going to solve their problem, they're going to choose the best tech.
Well said. Well said. And on that note, we're all done here. Thanks again for listening in. Have a great show. Take care.